And the last section that I want to talk about are plant-based diets. This section is taken from Kaiser Permanente and their wellness services. So a lot of this work is reviewed in this paper here, which is a nutritional update for physicians that is based on plant-based diets. And what the data suggests is that plant-based diets may be a practical solution to help prevent and treat chronic diseases. So again, these are the 4 horsemen that we're trying to avoid as we age, as well as some other disease states. So some of the known health benefits is that plant-based diets help prevent heart disease, type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, obesity. They have decreased inflammation, and so will also help contribute to having a reduction in things like Alzheimer's disease and the formation of cancer, and much more. So there's also a link to longevity. Along with these other things that we've been talking about, including exercise, being outdoors, having your nature prescriptions, and trying to limit your stress load to the good stresses in your life, are associated with longer life. And plant-based eating can have some benefits that are beyond your health as well. You might have lower food costs. Your meals may become more rich in color and full of texture and be just more fun. You might enjoy adding new foods to your regular routine. You might enjoy cooking. You might do this with a partner or a friend and also have some social aspect to it that adds richness to your life. You may find foods that you didn't know much about or that you really like. And you'll probably feel full and satisfied without being stuffed and heavy. The plant-based foods are like having the healthy plate on steroids, right? So it's still going to be the healthy plate, essentially. Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. And then a quarter of your plate is still going to be whole grains. Things like brown rice, quinoa, like will count as well. Whole grain bread, and there are some amounts that are listed here too, like 1 slice of whole grain bread or 2 corn tortillas or 1 whole wheat tortilla, that type of thing. So you can have wraps and things like that as well. You don't have to give up all your fun. Your protein source, 1/4 of your plate as well. So you see beans on this one, but you could also have tofu, lentils, or other nuts types of things in there for plant-based alternatives. They're even making a lot of meat mimics now with plant-based diets that are quite good, so check those out if you really want that meat texture in your meal. They also provide you with a serving guide for each day, so you should have 3 fruit servings. Servings would be a small orange, banana, or apple, or 1 cup of berries or melon. 2 to 3 cups of a milk substitute, things like almonds, soy, or hemp milk. A small amount of healthy fats, such as the extra virgin olive oil we've already talked about, canola oil, or a small handful of nuts. So again, remember the Mediterranean diet that had added nuts into the diet? Again, 30% reduction in cardiovascular events. So take a look at your own diet. Where are you and where do you want to be? Right? So this is what I'm asking you to do in your activity this week, is to try to create one healthy plate. Right? So if you want to have meat in your diet, that's fine. You can build your healthy plate with a lean meat source. If you want to try the plant-based only, you could make your healthy plate with an alternative plant-based protein source like beans or tofu or tempeh or things like that, right? But you want to not have the SAD diet. Okay, so for at least the activity this week, for 1 day out of the week, try to make your healthy plate or plant-based diet. So this is just to show you what 500 calories looks like in your stomach after you've eaten based on different food sources. So oils are very high in fat. You would only get a little bit of oil in your stomach if you had 500 calories that were completely just oil. Same with cheeses. Cheeses are very dense and would only take up a little bit of space inside your stomach. You can see meats are also pretty dense. They wouldn't take up that much space for 500 calories of a meat product. When you start getting into potatoes, rice and beans, that's a little less dense. It's going to take up more space in here and make you feel fuller. And then vegetables and fruits, they contain a lot more fiber in their source there. And you're going to feel really full with 500 calories of fruits and vegetables. So the whole plant-based foods will help keep you lean and still feeling satisfied because your stomach's going to be pretty full most of the time. So this just gives you some food options if you're looking at a full plant-based healthy plate, or if you're looking for some good options for a meat-based healthy plate that has meat as a protein source. So if you're not currently eating a healthy plate type of diet, how does that permanent change happen, right? You really need to want to change first. So you have to have some pre-contemplation about it. You need to think about making this change in your life and you need to prepare for it, right? So how would you prepare for this type of change? Well, you're doing one activity this week that can help you prepare. You're going to plan for a meal that's going to be on that healthy plate. So that's going to be your preparation. Once you have that preparation, you need action for that change, right? You need to say, all right, Wednesday of this week, I'm going to actually eat my healthy plate, right? And then follow through with that. And then after you make that change, try to build that into a maintenance program where you're going to keep making those small changes until you get to a diet that you actually are eating healthy most of the time. Nobody's ever going to be perfect on a diet. I'm certainly not perfect on my diet. I love chocolate. I love coffee. And I want both of those things in my life, but I try to limit the amount that I eat and have each day so that I kind of stay in a healthy balance. I do try to go for the plant-based diet most of the time as well, but I like fish and some meats once in a while. So, you can't totally teetotal all of the time. Right? So there will be times where you have relapses, you might have setbacks, you might, go on a binge and have a gallon of ice cream once in a while. So you've got to, after that happens, go back into the contemplation mode and say, oh, right, that was a relapse, but I really want to be on this. And the longer that you make some of these changes, the more ingrained in you they become, and they become the way you actually like to live. And then when you have a relapse, it actually doesn't make you feel good. Like if I ate a big bowl of ice cream right now, I wouldn't feel good after. It would taste really good going in. I know that. But then afterwards, it would feel kind of like a gut bomb, and I would not be happy for the rest of the night. So if I have ice cream, I only have a little bit now, and that's satisfying enough for me, and it makes me happy. So permanent change can happen, and you can build new habits, but you kind of need to go through this kind of action plan where you have this pre-contemplation. You decide, yes, this is something that I want to do. I'm going to take action for it, and then take time to prepare for that action. And then start small. Your actions don't have to change your full diet all at one time. You can go for changing one meal a week or maybe 2 meals a week. So if you really like to have a lot of meat in your diet, maybe say, all right, Two times a week, I'm going to try to shift and have plant-based protein sources for those two meals, right? And then the other meals, you can have your meat source, right? And then start slow, like that's fine. Any little changes that you're making has impact in your life. Maybe you haven't paid attention to the types of oils that you use when you cook. Just switching to having olive oil in there. That can be a big behavior change that can reap benefits in your health, right? And then try to work towards maintenance, knowing that you will have relapses sometimes, or sometimes where you purposefully are breaking the diet, breaking your nutrition habit. I don't really like to call it a diet because you want this to be a normal way of living. This is your nutrition and the way you eat, right? Not about dieting and trying to lose things from yourself. So starting a personal action plan. This is planning a goal that you want to accomplish, but it may take a while to achieve. So if losing weight is in there, that's great. Or maybe it's decreasing your blood pressure. For me, it's also like trying to limit my cholesterol, right? What things can I do or change in my diet that may affect that feature in my life? And then you make that action plan. What are some of those short-term steps that you need to reach your goal? Then decide, what are you going to do? How much are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? And how many days of the week are you going to do it? Right? So maybe an example of a plan would be, this week I'm going to add a quarter cup of garbanzo beans to my salad or soup at lunch 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So this is what you're going to do. Add beans. How much? A fourth of a cup. When? At lunch. 3 days during this week. That's an actionable plan where you're actually doing something. It's small. It's not going to take you a whole lot of extra thought or extra action to do this, but it's a small thing. And once you start changing small things and get it more into a routine, it becomes easier to make those things more permanent. So a few other tips to try to get started. Again, try starting with a single meal. Maybe breakfast might be a good and easy choice that you can switch over to a healthier habit. Try doing like that action plan suggested. Add beans or lentils into your diet, a fourth of a cup at a time, and maybe 1 or 2 days a week, maybe 3. And then try to reduce your portions. So if you like to snack, maybe limit, how long you snack into the evening by the time, or reduce your portions. Eat half of the amount of the animal proteins that you normally would. So what should you focus on? Increase high nutrient, low calorie foods. Things like leafy greens, vegetables, especially those cruciferous ones, squash, garlic. Garlic has a lot of health potential, and we will talk further about garlic at a later time. Mushrooms, fruits, berries, bananas, pomegranates, other fruits, legumes, green beans, lentils, soybeans, sugar snap peas, whole grains like quinoa, wheat, oat, rice, and pasta, seeds like flax, chia, pumpkin, sesame seeds, and plant-based dairy, soy, almond, rice milks. This is if you're on a full plant-based diet. If you want to keep dairy and some meats, totally fine too. Try to focus on lean meat choices like chicken and fish, and try to leave the red meats to special occasions. Also, again, remember the nuts. These are high nutrient, high fat, so you don't want to eat a ton of them. But eating nuts as a regular part of your diet has shown a lot of health effect. So that Mediterranean diet, again, where they increased the nut consumption, dropped cardiovascular events by 30% as they followed out these people. That's pretty stunning. So what things do you want to limit or avoid? So some of the avoiding things, maybe take the things that are addicted to the least and try to get rid of them. And then the things that you really, really want to have in your life because they make your life better, try to limit the amount that you have, but don't take them totally out of your life, right? So you want to limit or omit things like beef, pork, lamb, reduce chicken, turkey, and seafood. Processed meats, probably try to get rid of these as much as possible. Things like salami and bologna. And then also ham, turkey, and chicken, those sliced meats for sandwiches. Try to reduce those. Animal dairy, things like milk, cheese, yogurt, kefir, sour cream, cottage cheese, and butter. Sugar substitutes and refined sugars, things like aspartame, high fructose corn syrup, and processed foods, refined grains, white breads, cookies, fried potato chips, soft drinks, and alcohol. Yeah, so all the fun things, right? Limit them into smaller quantities. So this is just another action plan example that you can take a look at, right? So your action plan, I just want you to do one meal plan and then actually eat that meal sometime during the week, right? So, but you can, as you move through this, and if you are in that contemplation stage and you're wanting to really create a new nutrition program for yourself, start slow and start doing these action plans, start bringing them more into a written game plan so that you have it for yourself. It's easier to make changes when they're concrete, small steps. And don't start too big. Don't make huge changes that you just can't, go with. Don't starve yourself. Don't totally cut out all of the foods that you're currently eating all at one time. Make small steps. Just choose one meal, at a time to make some changes. Get used to it and then build on that progress.